In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to start knitting in the round, getting from the very first cast on to being in a round. I really do like going in the round. I know you can't believe I'm even saying I'm liking anything with knitting. So today I'm going to show you how to get this. I had a hard time wrapping my brain around it, so that's why I'm filming today, more for myself for later use. And so this is a scarf where they're literally, I'm just going round and around, and then at the end, I'm just gonna bunch the one side, and therefore it'll be double thickness, and it appears to be the stocking knit stitch when you're done. And this is using Caron Colorama Halo. So let me cast on some stitches. I'm gonna assume that you know how to do that, and then I'll show you how to come around. So I've just casted on whatever stitches the designer wants. If you're freeform, and do whatever you want, whatever floats your boat. So the cord length is determined by the designer. So they will tell you a circular knitting needle is 16 inches. That is referenced to the tip, and you should be able to get yourself all the way around. So there's knitting needles where some of the cords are really quite long, which are not appropriate because they're way too long and you won't be able to get the stitches around. So what I need to do is that when I finish casting on, I came over here. So I want to flip the whole project upside down. I also want to make sure that the center is facing each other like a horseshoe. Okay, so there's no weird twisting, and just flip your knitting upside down. The next thing I need to do is that if the designer is asking you to count the rounds, what they may want you to do is insert a stitch marker, and all it is the round circle, and it's just on the needle itself. So it's not part of the project itself, just part of the needle in order to count the rounds. You can also, if you're lazy like me, see this tail end. I can also count basically following the stitch work up if I leave that intact. So that's a question that you can have. So let's begin, and you're going to just move this closer to the tip. And even if there's a bit of extra space here, you can stretch and bring it closer to the tips. You will notice in the first round that we're about to do is that it'll be a little bit more looser. So even if there's a bulge that's hanging out somewhere, okay, you should be good to go. So I'm going to do the knit stitch just to start, and I'm going to grab the strand that is leading to the yarn ball. And the trick is, the very first time, is that you want to be tight. So you're just gonna knit like you normally would, and make sure that when you slide off, you are just going to make this one tight. Just give it a good yank, and then you can continue to knit. So as you knit now, it's going to be like an assembly line. So as you pull the stitches up here and you knit them off, you're gonna push down here, and they'll just naturally rotate around and around and around, right? It's just a manual way of doing, like an Addi Machine or something. You know, those automatic knitting machines where they go in the circles, but instead of the machine, it's your hands that is literally pushing the stitches around in a circle. And the beautiful thing about knitting in the round like this is that you don't end up with a seam line now. So with the tail end that you have, if there's any imperfections in the beginning, you can just sew it and pull it closed if you need to. That's completely your business. And you just keep on going around and around and around until your heart's content. So I'll meet you at the end of this round to show you how to switch the stitch marker, because you can see it's still on the needle. It's not in the stitch itself, and I'll be right back. So if it's critical to keep account of where the stop and the start is, and the designer is insisting on doing that, then you gotta keep moving that stitch marker each and every time. So this is the very first one that we have, so we're just going to knit that last one. And you can see that once you pull this off, the stitch marker is just resting here. So all you're just going to do is pick it up, move it over, and then begin knitting the next one. I know, rocket science. And you can tell now that I've gone all the way around once, is that it's more relaxed and it actually fits within the ring itself. And then the project is just going to continue to grow. And when I tend to knit, I've been noticing that the needles, I would look at it from this perspective. Some people may want to do it so the project is resting in front of them as they knit, but I find that's a pain. So I kind of knit so that the project is kind of behind, and I keep rotating as I knit like that. Hopefully this information helps, and we hope to see you again real soon.